So today I've just lightly prepped a board so that we could do a letter I on it, and we're going to do a drop shade. And just kind of pencil it in. We're going to do points on it. And you can use your yardstick if you'd like, or whatever you're using for a straight edge, and draw this. In fact, it's a good idea. And then what we're going to do is the drop shade doesn't touch the letter. Comes up and it drops down. You can use a straight edge for that if you'd like. That little angle right there. So this would come down straight and turn. It kind of wants to be in the same plane as this right here, so it can turn and go up. It's going to come down and turn, and it's just going to go right here, and those should almost touch, depending on how deep your shade is. If you had your shade in here, it would come down and stop, and then this would kick out. So it's a good idea to have it wider. It makes it look really nice that way. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to paint. This letter is going to be white because it's a great contrast with this background. Now you could paint this without the tape. I prefer the tape just because it's faster. Gives you nice crisp points, and if you had 10 of these eyes in a row, they'd match top and bottom. You don't have so much to worry about with this one. You finished it up here, and a lot of times it doesn't show, but it does make it, in my mind, it makes it look a lot more professional to use the tape. Have I had people give me a hard time about it? Absolutely. But if they're carpenters or whatever they're doing, I always ask, well, when you cut a board, do you use a handsaw? Well, no, I use a table saw. Well, this is our table saw. And remember that we always dip our brushes first to get water in them. I'm using a 1/2 inch flat here. And a liner brush. I'll be using water-based paint. You can tell by the brown tip on the brush. I'm set for a few minutes. Then I'll wipe the water out of them, get the paint ready, and we'll be ready to start. Now I'm a little out of position here, so I'm going to paint this as best I can, being out of position. I want the camera to make sure that you can pick this up. And many times in the sign painting industry, you are going to be out of position trying to paint something. Could be on the floor, painting the rocker panels of a Subaru, and then be on a 8-foot ladder, painting the box on a tractor trailer. So you're going to have to get used to awkward positioning and painting. So you'll learn. You just got to keep at it. You're probably going to wipe a lot of things back off. Don't worry about it. Just make it look as professional as possible. Okay, so let's pull this tape off and see what we have. This would normally get 2 coats, but this is, since we're doing this video, as you can see, we had a little bleed over there. I'll have to go back in there and do that by hand. Hopefully it didn't happen on the bottom. A little bit. So I'm going to be doing it by hand anyway. I do have some things to go by here. Okay, so there it is. Now we're going to start the shade. Now we'll finish taping off for the shade. We want that to run right down through here. Now remember, the shade does not touch the letter. That's why it's called a drop shade. It's dropped off in the side of the letter. Right here where these two pieces of tape go together, make sure you get that good and tight. That can actually bleed underneath there, just like those bled underneath the tape. And that's because I had washed this off and I didn't wait for it to dry, and there was a little water there. That's why it bled underneath it. So as long as your surface is good and dry, your tape will definitely work. So you're going to paint this in just about any position that you want, that you're comfortable. You don't have to be uncomfortable at it like I am right now, just because of the camera. I remember painting a sign one time. We were in a room with a 60-watt bulb over a truck. It was stormy, rainy. Oh my God, it was amazing that night. And we had to get this truck done. It took us about 2 extra hours to get it done because of the weather and the situation that we were in. We were working off the floor. And I remember somebody asking, what's red and smells like blue paint? So I'll ask you that same question. Being a sign painter, you want to have a pocket full of jokes. So what's red and smells like blue paint? And we can talk about that later in the video. Right now, our drop shade is done. Now, something else you want to remember is anything that you have, you want your most contrasting color to be the letter. And you want a color that's going to melt into the background from a distance, but not too much, to be your shade. So this blue and this blue relate to each other, and it'll kind of melt in the background at a distance, but this white will not. It'll always pop out and stand out. So that should be a really, that's a really good combination right there. Hi, this is Gary from Duck Cove Signs. I hope you found this video helpful. And we'll be doing an entire word so you can see how the drop shade relates to the letters as we letter the word.